Ever since the early stages of LL Cool J's career, he always referenced boxing to his album covers, his image, or whatever he was doing. And it's funny that his lineage, once he found out his ancestry, is really linked to boxing. Check it out how he talks about it with Mike Tyson. Check it out.
Come to find out that, my grandfather was a boxer, Nathaniel Christie Lewis, and his my uncle is actually the first black light heavyweight champion in America. Period. John Henry Lewis, first ever lineal champion, light heavyweight champion, not just a belt holder, like a lineal light heavyweight champion, first black lineal light heavyweight champion, and then through John Henry Lewis, and he found out in my new family my family I didn't know about. Tom Molyneux is another ancestor who was a bare knuckle champion as well.
Tom Molyneux, because you won't, I'll tell him who he was.
Tell him about him. Tell him about it.
Amazing.
Tom Molyneux.
I might start crying.
Yeah, he got his freedom. Tell him, Mike.
No,
amazing.
Tom Molyneux, probably in the 1890s it was, against the 1800s.
Seven?
No,
earlier than
1800s, 1790s or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He was the best slave fighter in America. Nobody in America on the slave plantation could beat him.
Yeah.
And he won his freedom, but you don't understand it. People won their freedom. He won his freedom. His owner gave him $500 in 1700s, late 1700s. $500.
Yeah, and that's why when you look at the history, that's why my mother's side of the family, there's no slavery. There's no history of slavery because Thomas Molyneux got us free. You know what I'm saying? So and he went to England.
And after that, let me continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
And after that, he beat all the slaves. He can't fight slaves no more. He's not a slave no more. Yeah. So he beat all the American free fighters. He beat them all. He's the first slave that could beat everybody in the country. You don't know how deep I'm gonna go deep. Yeah. The slave, nigga, he's the slave.
Yeah.
He sleeps on the floor. He could beat every man in a fair fight in America.
Yeah, so it's like, and going through my Uncle John
so
Henry.
So they called for him to come to all over. He beat everybody in Australia. He beat everybody. So they called for him to beat the greatest fighter they've known since the beginning of England. His name is Tom Cribb, right?
Yep.
The greatest fighter. This is what he don't know. I'm blowing away. Napoleon bet a bunch of money on his uncle, his great uncle. Napoleon, who's a slave master who hates black, don't believe in Black Republic. He bet around a couple of $1,000 on your great uncle.
That's crazy.
To beat Cribb. So he
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yes. So he's in there. He's having Cribb with no problem. So he's beating Cribb. The English people are getting worried. They crack him over here with an iron pipe.
What?
Yeah. And they let Cribb beat him, and they don't stop the fight.
Yeah,
they're doing it wide open. It's open. It's not nothing like shh. It's wide open. He's a black man. He's a black man. He has no rights. He's gonna beat the greatest fighter of our era.
Thomas Cribb.
No way.
Yep.
We're gonna stop him.
And they got sketches of this too. This actual event. There's actually short
and
stories.
It's not me. It's them. They're the ones that wrote it. So it's not me being favoritism towards the black guy. So they wrote it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going by from what they said.
You can Google it.
I'm gonna pull it up.
And from that, right, he was so depressed he turned into an alcoholic and stuff.
Yeah, he died. He died in Ireland. He died in Ireland
after having a bunch of kids and stuff.
Very young. Yeah. And knowing that through my Uncle John Henry, that's him right there. That's Thomas Molyneux.
He's gave so much inspiration for fighters from that time on and generals and stuff like that.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
So many people asked me to play him before. I've been asked so many times. That's what I want to play.
Mike, you could totally play him,
some people
bro.
in England asked me to play this guy, and I was standing, and that's before I knew he was your cousin. And then Dennis told me about it before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, that's LL Cool J relative. He said that'd be an awesome story, Tom Molyneux.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be an incredible story. This is Tom Molyneux right here.
Yeah, Tom Molyneux.
It's so amazing.
And then you go from him, you go to my Uncle John Henry, my grandfather, John Henry,
John Henry Lewis.
He
light
actually,
heavyweight champion.
John Henry Lewis, he never lost a light heavyweight title fight. He only lost to Joe Louis. And Joe Louis knocked him out, and he was going blind.
He did it for money.
He did it for money, exactly.
Joe Louis was his friend.